In Parshat Vayikrah, we begin to learn about the korbanot, the sacrifices. And there are many types of sacrifices. There's an olah, a burnt offering, which could be an animal or a bird, the mincha offering, the flour offering, the shlamim, the peace offering, the korban chatat, the sin offering, the asham, the guilt offering. And today, in the absence of a temple, most of this is just purely theoretical. We haven't been able to fulfill the mitzvot of bringing korbanot sacrifices for some 2,000 years. And therefore it's completely foreign to us. But let's think for a moment about a person who brought a chatat, a sin offering. This was a person who committed a very serious sin. They did so perhaps without full knowledge. They weren't aware of all of the facts. There was perhaps some degree of negligence, but they committed the sin. And once they become aware of the fact that they had committed the sin, they had a deep sense of regret. They would have done vidui, they would have confessed their sin to Hashem. And now they would have brought a sacrifice. And the Torah is very specific, depending on whether the person was the Kohen Gadol, or perhaps the king, or a regular person, what type of animal had to be brought. So the person would come to Jerusalem. And in those days, not everybody lived in Jerusalem. So it could be quite a trek. And you would have to buy an animal, which wasn't necessarily something that was cheap. It was taken to the temple. The person who brought the sacrifice could slaughter the animal themselves if they knew how to do it. Otherwise, the Kohanim would do it. And then the blood would be placed on the altar, and certain fats would be placed on the altar. The remainder of the animal would be eaten by the Kohanim. What do we see from this? What do we learn from this that's relevant to us? When it comes to a person who has done something wrong, and he regrets doing it wrong, it's insufficient to just say, well, I acknowledge I've done something wrong. I'm going to do better in the future. There are many people who take on resolutions to be better and to do better and to improve their behavior. But resolutions and words and thoughts are not enough to effect real change. The only way we can effect real change is with deed, with action, and also to put your money where your mouth is. Do you really feel regret and remorse at the sin that you've done? Well, if you really feel that way, let's see if you're prepared to pay something. Let's see if you're prepared to give of your time and your resources and your energy to come to the temple and to bring a sacrifice and to give it to the Kohanim, and perhaps to feel somewhat ashamed when they take your sin offering that you've committed this sin. And that would have had a great impact on a person. When it's just about, I apologize, I did something wrong, there's not going to be any type of lasting transformation, any type of lasting change. And even though we don't have sacrifices anymore, but the same thing applies today, where people realize that their performance has not been adequate and they've let people down. It's not enough just to say sorry. They have to show through their actions, through their commitment, and sometimes through their money, that they are going to be better. It's not enough just to say words and just have thoughts, but there has to be action to back it up. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.